Farming and ranching neighbor, and welcome back down my pecan tree lined lane. I'm Larry Marble. Come on through the screen door at Down on the Farm Radio headquarters. Sit with me at my kitchen table. We're going to talk about the things that are affecting agriculture in Down on the Farm country. And neighbor, as you know, we have 14 affiliate stations. We range from Abilene down to Corpus Christi, back over to Sonora, Ozona, and back over to Edna and El Campo and all points in between. And we appreciate each and every one of you for listening. So, neighbor, in honor of those affiliate stations, let's head over to Edna and El Campo, where 96 Country KIOX is at. Take a look at their ag weather. We have a 50% chance of thunderstorms today, 90 the high. 80% chance of thunderstorms on Thursday, 89 the high. 60% chance on Friday, 88 the high. Let's move on up to Abilene, where our affiliate is the Country Giant, KLGD 1069. 90 the high today with a 50% chance of thunderstorms. Thursday, 89 the high with an 80% chance of thunderstorms. Friday, 60% chance of thunderstorms and a high of 88. Now, neighbor, let's move down to Mason, where KHLB is our FM affiliate. 91 their high today. Sunny on Thursday, 94 the high. Friday, nary a cloud in the sky, 94 the high. And Saturday, 93 the high, and pretty much no chance of rain for those good folks. And finally, down to Corpus Christi, where our FM affiliate is 97.5 Real Country KFTX. Today, partly cloudy, 89 the high, 79 the low, 40% chance of moisture. 80% on Thursday, maybe a quarter of an inch, and 87 the high. Friday, 60%, 86 the high. And Saturday, probably be a pretty good fishing day, partly cloudy, 88 the high, and only a 20% chance of moisture. Neighbor, there is your ag weather for Down on the Farm country. Neighbor, today's ag weather is brought to you by PMI, Pipe, Steel, and Fencing. Find them at pipemovers.com. They've got stores in San Antonio, in High, in Hondo, in Kerrville, in Robstown, in Jourdanton, and Loretta. And they'll ship anywhere within this region of Texas. Why don't you contact Corey Stevens? He's the branch manager at the main San Antonio store. 210-223-7473. PMI, pipemovers.com. PMI, Pipe, Steel, and Fencing. Corey Stevens, the branch manager in San Antonio. 210-223-7473. Neighbor, let's take a look at our commodities of ag interest, reminding you that when I read one of these prices, it's just a photo of a price in time. Don't use that price to make a trade. I know you farmers and ranchers know better than that anyway. September corn, $3.31 even money, up 2. November beans down a half at $8.73 and a half. September Kansas City hard red winter wheat down 2.5 at $4.41 even money. Your December number 2 cotton contract up a penny at $59.45. August live cattle down 82.5 at $96.37. August feeder cattle down 47.50 at $132.72. While August lean hogs are down 92 at $51.75. And your July class 3 milk contracts down a quarter at $22.06. September U.S. dollar, it's up 437 points at 97.05. And August West Texas Intermediate crude is down 212 at 38 and a quarter. Neighbor, there's your commodities of ag interest. Neighbor, okay, we'll mark the commodities off our noontime Down on the Farm from the kitchen table list. Up next, a report from Tom Nicoletti and Texas Farm Bureau Radio. Tom, what you got going on?
The dynamics of water conservation. I'm Tom Nicoletti with Texas News and Views on the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network. More after these messages.
You're more than a rancher. You do what's right and trust others to do the same. That's the Texas way. Hi, I'm Pat McDowell, and we ranch near Shamrock, Texas. In 2019, your dollars helped the beef-loving Texans brand reach consumers nearly 300 million times. Efforts like the hit Hulu series BarbieQuest and successful advertising prove that your checkoff is working hard to keep beef in its strongest state. Find out more at TexasBeefCheckoff.com, funded by the Texas Beef Council.
6 F-35A fighter jets, 1 NFL team, a trip to the moon, all have a $1 billion price tag. Something else that costs $1 billion? Respiratory challenges in cattle each year. It's time to fight back against costly respiratory challenges. That's why Purina starter feeds are formulated with RX3 immune support technology. It boosts calves' natural defenses, priming their immune systems from the start. Talk to your Purina rep to learn more.
Well, now that it is summertime here in Texas and, of course, around the country, it's also the hottest time of the year and the driest time of the year. To talk more about how to take care of landscapes during the summer months, we go to horticulturist John Begnaud in San Angelo. And John, when we talk about the dynamics of water conservation, people want to know, how much water is necessary to take care of their landscapes. What do you think?
Well, I think it's a very important factor. It's really the key to success in any garden or landscape is water. It doesn't really matter if it's East Texas or West Texas, and the dynamics are very involved if you get down into everything from water sales or water wells or plant materials, but it is something that we haven't talked about as much in the last 2 years, for instance, as we did the prior 2 or 3 years when lake levels were low and water supplies were very stressed. But it's an issue, Tom, that we need to consider as we redesign landscapes right now, designing a new landscape or planting one. You have to plan for the date that water may not be available or may be very pricey.
Yeah, so in taking care of our landscapes, whether you're in the rural areas of Texas or suburban or urban, you have to design a landscape now that will hopefully benefit the homeowner when there are extremely difficult times of drought and no rain.
That's right. And what we're looking at is when we design a landscape, many people choose native plants or plants that are very well adapted to their soil, their location, their rainfall, and then we consider irrigation just supplemental. And I know people that are in the central part of the state of Texas that have designed landscapes that survive with no irrigation, using buffalo turf grass and all drought-hardy plants. It may not be the style that you want. Don't deprive yourself of, let's say, an oasis in the garden. A pond in the backyard is a good example. Yes, you have to put water in the pond, and yes, it evaporates, but maybe if you design the plant material and the area around it so that it uses very little water, it's a trade-off. And so you don't have to make total sacrifices just to get to that water conservation level that you think is appropriate.
And all this being said, rural water districts, city water districts, have their ways of operating when it comes to water usage, whether it be a lot of water usage or less water usage.
They usually adjust. They have plans. They adjust water availability to clients based on how much resource they have available. So they may limit you the number of days. They have not, in most cases, limited the number of gallons you could use. That's up to you to make the right decisions there. But they also sell water, and they make their revenue from the sale of water. So it's a double-edged sword. If we do conserve and save a lot of water, which is the right thing to do, we can expect the price of water to go up just so that we can have that water delivered to us.
Good advice from horticulturist John Begnaud joining us today from San Angelo.
After my first car accident, I feared the biggest damage would be to my wallet. I expected a mountain of bills and a long, drawn-out process. But my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent was there when I needed her and helped me get back on my feet and in my car in no time. Instead of a hassle, I got reassurance and a quick recovery.
Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance today at tfbinsurance.com to find an agent who's there when you need them most. Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
This is Texas News and Views. I'm Tom Nicoletti with the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network.
It's time for Hop Sing to feed us chicken fried steak, jalapeno gravy, plenty of Nanny's yeast rolls, and a cold cucumber salad. I'll pour the iced tea. And Carl Herman's going to tell us what he expected for the sale in Caldwell that's going on right now when he and I spoke last night. Carl, what did it look like then?
Even with some rain that we've had over the weekend and today, cattle are coming in pretty good, Larry. I think we'll have a pretty good sale. I don't know what tomorrow brings or what tonight brings as far as rain. We're taking on a pretty good number of cattle right now, so I think we'll have a good sale.
How much moisture have you had so far?
You know, we've had probably 1.5 to 2 inches scattered around, and had some today. I hadn't seen the gauge today, but it's beneficial rain this time of year.
Good deal. I've got a friend that always says the cows don't look too old as they get fat, and they don't come to town when they're fat. I don't guess we're going to have any cows or pairs coming this week.
I hadn't seen a whole lot of pairs here yet. Cows that are coming are pretty good on packer cows, so that's always a good thing.
Good deal, and the packer price has been pretty good.
Best we've had in several years, to be honest with you. So.
Well, tell everybody how to get a hold of you if they've got something they want to bring you.
My number's 979-820-5349. Call the barn, 567-4119. Or if you're in the Giddings and surrounding area, call Max Edner at 540-8676.
I'm Larry Marble from Down on the Farm, and we're with Levi Anderson. Levi, the Stay Tough product is a great seller at D&D, and you've got some high fence specials, don't you?
Absolutely, Larry. We have 2096 deer wire that we're running on special for $349 this spring. It's going to be good through the end of June or while supplies last.
Tell everyone how to get a hold of you for this particular product at D&D.
You can reach one of our friendly staff here at the store, 830-379-7340.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, kind sir.
Neighbor, when you hear songs like Cattle Call from Eddie Arnold, makes me think about accents folks have. I heard somebody say that the accent that you have is a gift from your community. I grew up in West Texas, so I've got a nasal West Texas twang. Old Doug Bass, sure enough, was gifted from his community. He's got a wonderful accent, and he's got a great business over there, he and the partners at Cattleman's Brenham Livestock. They sell every Friday. Doug, tell us how that last Friday sale went.
We had a good sale, Mr. Larry. Ended up with 857 head of cattle. Market sure looked cows. I think cows were just a tad higher, and the calf market looked steady to higher. On your weigh-in packer cows, your thinner, low-yielding cows range from 40 to 51. Better high-yielding cows bring anywhere from 55 to 72. Your packer bulls, lower-yielding, smaller bulls bring 58 to 72. Your better high-yielding bulls bring 84 to 99. We had a few pretty good pairs there. The better pairs bring anywhere from 1,000 to 1,650. The medium pairs bring anywhere from 900 to 950. Bred cows, few bred cows, medium kind of bred cows bring anywhere from 600 to 850. Better bred cows bring from 9 to 1,100. Calf market, I thought the calf market, it was steady to higher. Roping calves, 1 and 2 weight roping calves, steers bring 140 to 207. Heifers bring 142 to 190. Your 2 to 3 weight steers bring 135 to 182. Heifers bring 120 to 165. 3 to 4 weight steers bring 120 to 162. Heifers bring 110 to 147. 4 to 5 weight steers bring 115 to 163. Heifers bring 106 to 145. 5 to 6 weight steers bring 110 to 140. Heifers bring 103 to 167. 6 to 7 weight steers bring $1 to $1.34. Heifers bring $1 to $1.48. 7 to 8 weight steers bring 95 to 123. Heifers bring 85 to $1. And 800 to 1,000 pound steers and bull yearlings bring 80 to 105. Heifers bring 70 to 95.
So it sounds like you had a good sale. What have you got on the ticket for this week?
We've got some people sure calling. We got some pretty good drags of calves lined up to come from different folks. Nothing as far as cows, but the phone's sure ringing. I'm thinking we'll have a pretty good run. We will not have a sale the following week, July 3rd, for Independence Day. We will not have a sale that week. So if y'all got them, bring them to town this week. We're going to skip a week, and then we'll start back up the following.
Doug, tell everybody how to get a hold of you at Cattleman's Brenham.
Yes, sir. Y'all can call me on my cell, which is 979-877-4454. Or call us at the office, which is 979-836-3621.
McCoys.com. Make McCoys your choice for livestock pens and rodeo equipment like the 40-foot utility round pen or a manual rope and chute. Shop online and find the store near you at McCoys.com. Neighbor, one of the best things about being a Down on the Farm radio listener is that we get to ride hard with the Down on the Farm Cowboys during the noon hour and travel a bit. Let's travel out to San Angelo and talk to Benny Cox from Producers in Cargyle, San Angelo. They sold sheep and goats yesterday. They're still selling today. You got another 3,000 head to move, do you, Benny?
Yeah, we sold 87, 89 yesterday, and we're going to sell like 3,000 or so today. Man, this market is just as good as you could expect it to be. Actually, we didn't have very many wool lambs just like last week, but they sold mostly steady on the ones that we did have. The slaughter hair lambs, they sold from 2 to 5 higher. Some of those things look 10 higher to me, and the dad burn sale got better as we went on. The slaughter ewes, they sold from firm to $5 higher, and these kid goats sold near steady. There was a little, some gaps in there, but for the most part, those top end goats look to me pert near as good as they should be. A bunch of those goats still bringing that 310 to 320. Had some of those muttons, like we've been talking about, bring up to 348, and did have some top end kids bring 340. Looking at the wool lambs we sold, we had some old big things way up there close to 100, bring 148, and some lightweights all the way up to 208. On those lightweight hair lambs that were going to slaughter from 180 up to 226, and heavier weights from 150 to 194. The slaughter ewes, they sold in a range from 70 all the way up 108. The kids from 240 to 348, but mostly 270 to 305.
Good. Now, how many more do we have to sell today? You said 3,000?
Oh, sell 3,000 or so today. You don't ever know how many you're going to catch. I doubt we'll catch many since we don't have 2-day sales. Generally, there are a lot of people probably didn't get the memo.
Right. Now, speaking of getting the memo, the cows that are supposed to be there tomorrow, Thursday, have they got there yet?
Yeah, we'll frequency test those things this evening. There's ended up being 122 total head coming in. Like I said yesterday, about a third of them are Herefords, another third Black Baldies, and the other third will be black and red cows. All of them been running with Angus and Hereford bulls. They come from West Texas. We're going to have I imagine we're going to have a good many calves. We've got a special advertised calf sale. So we're going to have a pretty decent sale tomorrow. One thing for everybody to remember is that we will be closed all of next week. There won't be any sheep sales or cattle sales.
All right. Benny Cox, producers in Cargyle. Tell everybody how to contact you.
They can call me on my mobile. It's 325-234-4277. Office, same area code, 653-3371. Or they can always look at the web, which is producersandcargyle.com.
I'm on the line with Levi Anderson from D&D Farm and Ranch. Levi, it's getting green. That means there's lots of things going on the farm and ranch, and you've got lots of equipment and things like that to help folks, right?
Absolutely, Larry. We've got WW, Preferred. We also carry Tartar, and then our wonderful D&D equipment here. This spring, we're having a promo.
And Levi, you've got two particular products and prices you want to talk to folks about?
Absolutely, Larry. We have the wonderful D&D Maverick chute. It's going to be $1,000 off through the end of June, as well as our D&D tub and sweep system. That'll be also $1,000 off through the end of June.
Tell everybody how to get a hold of you if they're familiar with those products, what they do, and how to use them.
You can get a hold of us here at D&D 830-379-7340 and talk to one of our friendly staff. We'll be glad to fix you up.
Neighbor, you know what? While we're at it, let's just have a party. A cow party, cow selling party that is, during the noon hour. Let's travel a bit more out to Abilene and talk to Henry Pickett, Abilene Livestock. They have a cattle selling party every Tuesday. Henry, how'd the sale go this week?
Well, pretty good. We started out early Tuesday morning. We had some thunderstorms come through and had quite a bit of needed rain around, so that slowed the numbers down. We ended up with about 564 head and about 180 cows. Of those 180 cows, probably had 75 to 80 good young middle-aged pairs that went back to the country.
Good. They sell pretty good?
They did pretty good. Anywhere from 950 on the bottom end to 1,400 on the top.
What was the brightest, shiniest consignment that you had that you thought did real well yesterday?
We've had some 3-year-old, really good, stretchy, big type Hereford pairs with some baby calves on them, and they probably bring in the 1,250 to 1,300 range.
And they stayed local?
Yes, sir. They stayed local.
Good.
Then we had a string of yearlings that weighed in the 4s, good blacks and black baldies, and they were steers bring up there to 180, and the heifers like 140.
Well, good. Sounds like you've caught some moisture. Are your tanks still in good shape?
Well, some of them are, and some of them are in still need of some moisture, runoff.
Right.
But we're in pretty good shape for the 1st of July.
Right. What's the cotton crop look like? I know you probably see some passing by.
Progressing real well, and looks like it's all right. I don't know if they really need the rain right now.
Yeah.
And there's still some wheat, people trying to harvest some late wheat, and that probably slowed them down a little bit.
Have you heard about any yields on the wheat?
Oh, no, not really. It's kind of average between 20 to, I've heard of some 50, but that'd be off of really good bottomland.
Yeah, I understand. Well, do you know of anything for next week?
Not right now. This rain kind of changed everybody's plans, but I'm sure we'll have some in the next day or two.
We will have a sale on the 30th, right?
Yes, we are going to have a sale on the 30th, and then we are going to have one on the 7th.
Okay, so we'll sell around that.
Since July 4th hit on a Saturday,
right,
we decided we'd just go ahead and have one on the 30th and the 7th.
Well, tell everybody how to get a hold of you, Henry.
You can get a hold of me at the cell barn at 325-673-7865, for my cell number is 940-733-8208.
You know, neighbor, as many of you know, I live on Aransas Bay. My house faces Fulton Beach Road. During the time of the year when the oystermen are out there working, dragging their rakes, I can hear them. In fact, there's a reef probably about 1.5 miles out in front of my house that I like to fish around. Oysters like nobody's business. And guess what old Jessica Daumel's talking about on today's Texas Wildlife Radio? You guessed it, oyster farming, right, Jessica?
Oyster farming in Texas. I'm Jessica Dolmel with the Texas Wildlife Radio Show on the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network. Now that the Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission has approved an oyster mariculture program, companies can begin applying to raise oysters in Texas and Texas coastal waters. But because there are currently no oyster hatcheries in Texas, companies will initially have to go to other hatcheries along the Gulf Coast to obtain seed oysters. Lance Robinson of the Coastal Fisheries Division told the Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission that steps are being taken to protect the state's natural oyster populations. First, the companies must obtain broodstock that originates from either the northern or the southern population of oysters that occur naturally in Texas coastal waters. The broodstock obtained must match the location for any oyster operation. Seed oysters from any out-of-state hatchery that produces fertile diploid oysters must provide the state with disease testing results from a department-approved lab before they can be shipped to Texas. Businesses that plan to open an oyster hatchery, nursery, or grow-out facility must submit their plans to the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department on the proposed site and the operation plan. They must also provide a natural resource survey, including any information on sensitive habitat and buffers. The department would then accept public comment on the proposal and host a public meeting. If approved, the applicant would get a conditional permit, allowing them to pursue any other leases, permits, and other information that may be required by state and federal agencies. Once the clearances are received, then they can have a permit allowing them to move forward with moving gear into the water and putting the oysters in.
You're more than a rancher. You do what's right and trust others to do the same. That's the Texas way. Hi, I'm Pat McDowell, and we ranch near Shamrock, Texas. In 2019, your dollars helped the beef-loving Texans brand reach consumers nearly 300 million times. Efforts like the hit Hulu series BarbecQuest and successful advertising prove that your checkoff is working hard to keep beef in its strongest state. Find out more at TexasBeefCheckoff.com, funded by the Texas Beef Council.
6 F-35A fighter jets, 1 NFL team, a trip to the moon, all have $1 billion price tag. Something else that costs $1 billion? Respiratory challenges in cattle each year. It's time to fight back against costly respiratory challenges. That's why Purina starter feeds are formulated with RX3 immune support technology. It boosts calves' natural defenses, priming their immune systems from the start. Talk to your Purina rep to learn more.
You've been listening to the Texas Wildlife Radio Show. For the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network, I'm Jessica Dolmel.
Neighbor, isn't that interesting? Agriculture and aquaculture here in Texas. Neighbor, let's check the grains. Courtesy of John Tuggle. Call 800-288-4453. Milo through Corpus in June. D's plus 85, 753. Houston, D's plus 110, 798. Progresso, 680. Number 2 or better yellow corn through Corpus in June. September, even money, 329. No bid. Houston, Progresso, September plus 55, 384. Hard red winter wheat through Corpus in June. July plus 85, 520. Calling Houston, July plus 1. $125.55. Houston beans, August, September delivery, November less 25, $8.49, even money. East Texas cotton, 1,303 bales. West Texas cotton, 1,953 bales sold. Prices range from $55.84 to $58.34. Neighbor, 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 looks to me like we've exhausted all the time we're going to give ourselves for this edition of our program. Of course, I call it Down on the Farm, and they call me Larry Marble, and I call you my neighbor. And neighbor Hopsing and I will call you back down the pecan tree line lane through the screen door into our kitchen for a big old heaping helping of ag breakfast tomorrow morning.